Jay Cutler's injury. It was the NFC Championship game. The winner makes it to the Super Bowl. It was the historic Chicago Bears vs. Green Bay Packers. January 23rd, 3 p.m. It was 20 degrees out, 62,377 fans were there. The Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers have had quite a history with their rivalry. So this was the greatest game that they could play each other because being that they were both from the NFC, they would never make it to the Super Bowl. So this was the most high-stake game the Bears and Packers would be playing. Of course, it lived up to expectations. It was a hard-hitting game. The Packers pulled out with the lead, 14-0, until the third quarter happened. In the third quarter, the Chicago Bears starting quarterback, Jay Cutler, was taken out of the game due to injury. He was not to return again, and people and players and fans around the league were not happy with his decision. They were questioning his loyalty and passion for the game because he was taking himself out of the game that could get him to the chance of everyone's dream to make it to the Super Bowl. The Bears' backup quarterback actually ended up doing a pretty good job in putting points on the board. The funny thing is, he used to be a gym teacher a couple weeks prior before he got on the practice squad with the Chicago Bears. Jay Cutler's injury ended up taking over the story of the game. People weren't talking about the game anymore. They were talking about Jay Cutler. They weren't going to say who's going to win, who's going to lose, but it was, why is Jay Cutler not playing? What has he done? Being from Chicago, I know that the fans were not happy at all. Everyone lost a ton of support for him, and I was actually watching it out at a restaurant, and people started booing him every time he came on the field. The Packers went on to win the game. They almost lost on their fourth quarter drive, led by Josh McCollum, but he didn't. Unfortunately, he did do better than Jay Cutler, though. But being that the Packers won, they were going to the NFC Championship, so they were going to the Super Bowl. But the main story was still about Jay Cutler's injury. So yay, Pats are going to the Super Bowl. But no one really cared. Instead, all the questions were on Jay Cutler. After Jay Cutler was injured, he was taken out. So people still wanted to know why he did it. Why would he take himself out of the biggest game that he was playing in? Peter King, he's an analyst and reporter. He tweeted, "Come on, Cutler, you have to come back. This is the NFC Championship game if you didn't know." Being that Peter King was a reliable source for information, people took what he had to say seriously. So the Jay Cutler issue was not just brushed under the carpet. It was actually revealed to everyone, and everyone knew about it. Other players like Raheem Brock, "Cutler, you little sissy. How does it feel that your backup is the only one that can put points on the board? Bet Cutler comes back now." Once again, questioning what type of player he is, how dedicated to the team he is. Why would you take yourself out? Another one. It has nothing to do with the Green Bay Packers winning and going to the Super Bowl now. It's all about Jay Cutler. Jay Feely said, "As a guy who had had 20 knee surgeries, you'd have to drag me out on a stretcher to leave a championship game." Hashtag just said. This is saying that he is more dedicated than Jay Cutler. How is that supposed to make Chicago people feel when they wanted to go to the Super Bowl? We are one game away from going to the Super Bowl, and because of one man who couldn't be as dedicated and was supposed to perform on the biggest game that we could play, isn't performing and takes himself out due to injury, so we get left with the backup's backup to try to win the game. That's not okay for Chicago. Another player, Kirk Morrison. Jay Cutler better get some tussin out on that knee and get back out there. Tussin cures all. He's saying, there's no excuse. Jay Cutler, it's the NFC Championship game. You need to be out there. This is your team. You brought him there, and now what are you doing? You're just going to get him all the way there and then just let him go and say, oh, well, good luck with you guys. Which is how the media really showed this game. Because even on ESPN, they were all talking about the Jay Cutler injury. They weren't talking about the Pats going to the Super Bowl. Everything now was trending around this Jay Cutler problem. So on social media, everything was blowing up. On the news, everything was blowing up. I saw it firsthand being from Chicago, and you know what? I can honestly say I was a part of it. I lost a ton of respect for Jay Cutler after that game, and I'll never support him the same because I feel that he took the Bears away from a Super Bowl. Thank you, and have a nice day.